The New Zealand hawk, quite surprisingly, not really surprisingly, because there have been talks
exactly about this since I guess 1 year more or less.
Exactly about the mule. So this not really a surrogate yacht,
No.
but a yacht within the rules for the EC75. So
For
when
not being a surrogate yacht.
not being a surrogate,
Being a surrogate yacht
Not
without
that
being
smaller.
officially a surrogate.
Exactly. So the idea is you cannot build a boat which is longer than 12 meters,
Exactly.
so 40 footer, about 40 footer. Otherwise, this is considered like another hull, so you are not actually allowed to sail it or even to build it. The fact is that New Zealand, which wrote the rules, by the way, they made exactly a 12-meter boat.
12-meter boat.
Looks like, and didn't actually put the bowsprit because otherwise the boat would have been shorter. Not the actual hull would have been shorter because the bowsprit is considered in the overall length.
Exactly.
So they actually built a boat exactly 40 footer. 40 footer just to avoid the rule that themselves put, already knowing probably they would have
done something like this.
Exactly, gone around this rule. Obviously, the more you get close to the final dimension of the big boat, the more you have answers from the
Exactly.
data.
So you have closer data in respect to what you see in the 75 footer. Also because the 75 footer is 75 foot with the bowsprit, so it's actually 65, 68, 69.
I don't remember. Anyway, this boat is closer, so we obviously we don't know this for sure, but we saw like a couple of people on board today. Yeah. So yesterday we were guessing. Today I saw a couple of people on board, so making the dimension of an average New Zealand guy, and then squaring it, and then putting it horizontal, and then putting one inside. In the end, okay, the arm we know is not really in the middle of the boat, but is a little bit forward of the middle of the boat, but still. Anyway, doing all this kind of calculation, then you can, let's say, more or less say that this is a 40 footer.
Exactly. It's let's say it's difficult. They would have done something like 11 meter boat. If you are doing something new, you will do to the maximum for sure.
So we can say this maybe was the reason why they were sailing at some point with a big boat without the bowsprit, just to figure out if it's how it feels, maybe or no. Maybe this is just a guess. Anyway, now the boat looks like the other one without the bowsprit. So, but the boat actually is
quite different
from the Aihe. This name is the
Kahu. Yes.
The Kahu, which is actually a hawk.
And because it glides, the hawk glides on the water. So.
Exactly. While the other one is going, which is exactly the case.
Exactly. So the Aihe is made to dolphin, so to purpose, and the hawk is made to fly. To fly. Always.
In fact. There have been a lot of, let's say, declarations by the guys of the technical guys on the crew. Exactly. They said several things. Some of them are saying actually this boat has been done before the big one. But actually, what I personally think, and I don't know about you, Pietro, but I personally think this boat has been designed. The final design of the hull has been released after the first days of sailing of the big boat.
Exactly. So we see some evolutions,
yes,
and some things which are maybe more similar to other boats than to the concept the first boat the first New Zealand boat is born too, no?
So glances to the other to the challengers, and an evolution of the initial concept of Te Aihe, even if obviously the boat looks much more squared, and this is not, in my opinion, a choice. It's not a choice because they want to try a more square design. It's just because
it's easier to build.
Easier to build. In my personal opinion, it's easier to use a mold to build this kind of hull. So then my guess is that they are planning to do another hull exactly identical to this one, just to start racing one against each other. Obviously, this is nothing they are saying. No, nothing at all. Obviously. First reason can be that I am completely wrong. Second reason can be that obviously you are not saying anything like this.
Because you want the others to find out when you put out the second boat.
Exactly, when you see that there is a double image of the same boat. What is happening? So that's probably the case. If you look at the hull, you have some kind of experience of hull building, then you see this kind of design is very suitable to have like a female mold. So this can be the case. We already said would be really interesting to test the actual racing, because in the end it is a match race. So if you are just trying a boat alone in the sea, which is the only one thing you can do apart from sailing in Cagliari and then in Portsmouth, then it's very tough to understand exactly what the moves can be to beat your opponent. Exactly.
So the hull is quite different, this concept, and we don't see anymore that bottom part. So the bottom roundish shape, and we see a little, let's say, keel. It is something similar to what Prada has, but as it was
completely cut,
at some point,
as if it was completely cut. The very different. The bow is very different. No?
Even probably because an inverted mold is more difficult to do on.
Absolutely, in general, for sure, on a mold is much more difficult. Here is looks like straight, or something.
Exactly.
Straight or something like this.
And then the flat bottom angled, which has as Taglang,
Jacques Taglang and François Chevalier.
They showed yesterday already what could be also the waterline of the boat in straight up position and in heeled position. And in heeled position we see there is a lot more wet surface than the dolphin, than the Aihe. But the boat seems quite more stable also.
Exactly, more writing moment.
More writing moment,
exactly. When heated.
Exactly. Also, in the forward part, there is this square part, which is, of course, in part probably because it's easier to build, but also gives quite a lot more of buoyancy, which is really useful when you are capsizing.
Or you are on the edge of capsizing, exactly. Then the boat goes a little bit more forward and then goes down like this,
exactly.
With the front part, let's say.
Exactly.
So then if you have more volume, maybe you stop. So we were thinking about the capsize of the only one we saw, the capsize of New Zealand. Probably this kind of boat would not have capsized in the same situation. Actually, there is a photo right from the front that has come out today, where we see that the V part in the front part is actually round negative, which is something we didn't figure out in the very beginning.
Exactly.
But still, anyway, the dimension of the boat is
exactly. So in this way, they have not much volume where they hit the water.
Exactly.
So they can
if
have
they just go some like this,
exactly.
it's still not that much wet surface. But once they start healing, then they have a lot of volume, exactly, which prevents from going down. Also, we were thinking a few videos ago, we are thinking about the possibility of some kind of pump start from the water, which was meant to start with a boat heated some degrees, no?
Exactly.
Heated to leeward some degrees, and this kind of surface made with this boat is just perfect to do this.
Exactly. So you can start to plan maybe on the straight surface, and then you can pump and go up.
You can just pump and go up, then put the boat suddenly upright, and then start foiling without losing too much time. No? And that's very interesting. The other very very interesting thing is that this kind of V shape allows you to use the wheel heel, no?
Exactly.
The wheel heel setup. So you can actually heel to windward.
Exactly, and you have more clearance on the water when you do this. So you can obviously in the heel to windward position you have some lift coming from the mainsail itself, so from the sails themselves. So you actually can have less lift coming from the foils. So basically, you can have less trim on the foil, and so less drag, because you have less lift on water, so less drag on water, and you have the same amount of lift on the air, but it's just inclined differently. So this can be in the upwind
leg. This can be a tool, incredible, because this kind of bow, also with the negative that we saw, it is like forcing the air just on the flat part, and then can create some ground effect there. And then also there is the additional lift of the sail, eventually heeled to windward. So this is really an interesting yacht, this one.
For sure.
Because it's like having an American Magic or an Ineos boat, but with the ability to not to sail it completely flat, but to sail it heeled to windward, which is something that a most sailor likes to do, and for a reason.
Exactly, it's a good reason why you want to do this, and for sure you also can have maybe some straighter foils, and you don't have to make it angled to provide some leeward leeway.
Exactly. So this kind of boat will be not so stable for sure when upright in the water. Not at all, because it's just basically staying a little bit like this. But then, when you put it on one side, then it's really stable. And then, when you are in this kind of position, either when taking off, either you heel to leeward or you heel to windward. When you are at full speed, then these two kind of trims can lead to a huge advantage. So look at this boat, even if they're saying, okay, it has been like designed a little bit before, so we were thinking about doing it or not. No, it's this is a real huge project. In fact, there was some declaration. Some guys were saying this is our boat 1.5, which is the real statement.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not boat 0.5, but it's boat 1.5. So it's actually something, an update Te Aihe.
Exactly. Then I mean, also this kind of round bow reminds me of a good boat for match racing. So if imagine another boat without bowsprit with a round bow, you think it's a safer way to try to match race these boats and really be aggressive with them. Not sure. Obviously, again, this is a guess. But makes some kind of sense, in my opinion.
Of course.
Okay, to end up this analysis, we have on the deck we have like a full actually self-taking track, different from the big boat.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Just to make it simple, and then but we have a mast on again on the same with the same structure
exactly.
Just on the bow ring, just with the same. Just scaled.
Exactly.
It looks like just scaled for the double skim mains and so on.
Quite let's say aft on the yacht, but with J, so the head stay is actually in the middle, let's say, of the bow, so it's not actually at the bow.
More or less the same position as the big boat, with the difference that here you cannot have the bowsprit, most probably if the boat is already 40-footer, so then they will put the Co-Zero just on the bow.
Probably they can put the Co-Zero on the boat.
So I mean, this is one of the cases where you sacrifice the let's say this kind of test because you better do it directly on the big boat, but then you have a more reliable boat for all other conditions, which are probably 90%. So.
Exactly. So you give up a little bit on the Co-Zero, and you have a really well scaled boat for all the other conditions.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Ciao.